Mass Effect fans have been over the moon ever since BioWare's announcement that it'll return to the original timeline for a new game. However, it seems like this sequel will be a departure from the old games, as the studio has shut down speculation about Shepard's return. How did the rumor even get out in the first place, though? Well, keep watching to find out. First, Mass Effect merch sparks speculation among fans. Mass Effect Andromeda was a disappointment for fans of the franchise, as the game's writing just couldn't live up to the standards set by the original trilogy. However, now that we look back at it in hindsight, it actually wasn't a terrible game. It's just that everyone was expecting BioWare to make another flawless Mass Effect game, which it obviously failed to deliver. And after the disappointment of Anthem, the studio really needed to get its act together. So what did they do? They announced that the next Mass Effect will take us back to Commander Shepard's timeline. Now, nothing about this was actually confirmed except an N7 logo tease and a character that looked like Liara from the original games. The cogs of speculation really started to turn, though, when some new merch for the franchise was added to BioWare's official store. Initially spotted by YouTuber Mr. Hulthen and reported by VGC, a new poster for the game had a rather revealing description. Here's what it said: "While Shepard and the survivors are left to pick up the pieces, fans are left wondering what's next." Now, since this piece of merch had the same art on it that was used to tease Mass Effect 5 on N7 Day last year, we can be sure that it's related to the upcoming game. So, to randomly get confirmation about Shepard's existence in the sequel was pretty surprising. For context, Commander Shepard was the protagonist of the original trilogy, and if you've played those games, you'd know that they don't really have a satisfying conclusion to the Commander's story. In fact, in 2 of the endings for Mass Effect 3, our hero kinda dies. Plus, even if you get the perfect third ending, you never really know for sure if they've survived. After that, any official confirmation about Shepard's return was obviously going to spark some wild speculation. This excitement was kinda short-lived though, as the studio quickly admitted that it was nothing but a mistake. Next, BioWare director backtracks on the store listing. It didn't take long for this story to spread around the social media like wildfire. Many people latched onto the fact of the fleeting possibility that Shepard was still alive, and people even started celebrating like it was the return of the Messiah. However, it seems like BioWare went into panic mode after the initial reports. They quickly deleted the original product description and changed it to simply stating the fact that Mass Effect will continue. Plus, on top of that, the game's director Michael Gamble also came clean and tweeted that it was just an honest mistake. According to him, the people who were running the store for BioWare were just not familiar with the ending of Mass Effect 3, so any potential story details coming from that website should be taken with a grain of salt. But of course, people are still very skeptical about the whole thing and don't really believe him. After all, it's still the official website and these descriptions don't come out of nowhere. Like, even a simple Google search is enough to reveal Mass Effect 3's ending, which is why people aren't buying Gamble's explanation. And now, even the Mass Effect actors want Shepard to return. Mass Effect 5 is still in early pre-production, as BioWare has been hard at work on the upcoming Dragon Age game. So there's every possibility that the story for the game has just not been finalized. Now, with literally every fan rooting for Shepard to return to the franchise, it would be a pretty bizarre decision to not do that, right? Well, it seems like the original voice actors for Commander Shepard also agree with that sentiment. Speaking to the press for N7 Day last year, both Jennifer Hale and Mark Meer expressed their desire to see the protagonist return for Mass Effect 5. Not only that, but they'd also said that they'd be totally down to come back and act again if they're ever called up for the part again. Of course, since Shepard has both male and female versions, 2 voice actors are needed for the role. It looks like Mass Effect 5 is not going to come out anytime soon. With that said, we're still a long way away from actually getting any substantial information about the game. Why? Well, according to insider reports, BioWare isn't scheduled to start on the development of the next Mass Effect game until next year in 2023. The studio is apparently fully focused on delivering a great Dragon Age 4. However, the fact that we haven't even seen any footage from that game should ring some alarm bells. After all, if the next Dragon Age game is slated for a 2023 release, and we haven't even seen any gameplay footage of it yet, it could mean that a potential delay is imminent. In fact, reports from last year claim that the studio leadership was having trouble keeping the team together. On top of that, we also saw the creative director for Dragon Age 4, Matt Goldman, actually quit the studio. So if their current game is under development hell, it could push the next Mass Effect back even further. And if we assume that BioWare will pivot over to its sci-fi franchise in 2024, the chances of the game actually coming out anytime before 2028 are actually pretty small. As a result, we'll have to wait for almost 6 years to get a new Mass Effect game, which which feels like an eternity. Hopefully though, that sequel can finally reignite the fanbase's love for the franchise and bring it back to its glory days. Next, in other news. Enough about Mass Effect though, let's talk about what else is happening in the world of video games. Persona could finally make its way to Xbox. The Xbox leadership has been hard at work to bolster the Game Pass library by adding quality first and third-party games to the service. With the recent delay of Starfield and Redfall though, it seems like Xbox Game Studios' lineup will be pretty light this fall, so Microsoft obviously needs to look elsewhere for more third-party content. Now, Xbox fans have been clamoring for a more diverse lineup of Japanese games on the console. After all, that's kinda the only weak spot left for it, as Sony's PlayStation continues to scoop up exclusive Eastern games, like the upcoming Final Fantasy XVI. And to add to the fans' frustrations, the console doesn't even have other popular JRPGs on it like the Persona series. However, it seems like all those Phil Spencer Japan visits are finally about to pay off, as the wheels for the franchise's presence on the console have started turning. In a survey posted by the Persona developer Altus asking for feedback, one of the questions asks if players would want the series to come to Xbox. Now, this could end up just being nothing, as there are other options to choose from as well as mobile and the Switch. With the Japanese developer teasing a Persona 6 though, it wouldn't be a surprise to see them finally make an Xbox port as well. And who knows, maybe we'll also get the previous Persona games on Game Pass. Gears of War could get the remaster treatment. The Gears of War franchise is adored by Xbox fans as it kinda revolutionized third-person shooter games when it initially launched on the 360. Over the years though, the hype for the series has kinda died down, even though the recent Gears 5 was excellent. But if you're a fan of the original Gears trilogy made by Epic Games though, you're in for a treat. According to an Xbox insider Nick Baker, the Gears franchise could also get the Halo Master Chief Collection treatment. Now, if you don't know, the Master Chief Collection is one big compendium of all mainline Halo games except Guardians. Not only that, but the older entries in the collection like Combat Evolved have also gotten the full master makeover with improved graphics. So if the OG Gears of War games also get a similar collection, it could bring back a lot of fans to the franchise. Oh, and apparently we don't have to wait very long for it either, as the Gears Remaster Collection is slated for a release later this year. Nintendo Switch overtakes PS4 sales in America. The Nintendo Switch will obviously go down in history as one of the most successful game consoles ever made. The follow-up to the awful Wii U has been selling like hotcakes ever since its initial release in 2017. And with an incredibly strong lineup of first-party games, it doesn't show any signs of slowing down either. In fact, Nintendo recently announced that the console has sold over 107 million units worldwide. Oh, and guess what? In the US, the Switch has been so dominant that it has already surpassed the PS4 sales numbers despite coming out 4 years later. This makes it the fourth best-selling console of all time. And honestly, if it continues to sell this way, we could see it go for the PlayStation 2's top spot as well. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think that the Nintendo Switch will surpass the PS2's lifetime sales? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.